Let's build a plane. Let's build a plane. This is the 10th anniversary timber. Let's build it. What up? Let's build it. 10th anniversary. I have flown every timber they've made except the big wood SWS timber. This one will also be fantastic. And what is happening? I'm building a plane. This one comes with floats. This is a classic 10-year anniversary. Lots of iterations of the timber, different sizes, different wingspans, twin engine, lots of different ones. The first versions of this were what we all call a bottom feeder, where the battery went in from the bottom. Makes sense. Since then, though, they've all been top feeders. Makes more sense to leave it on its wheels and put the battery in rather than have to flip it over. So much has changed, and now it's got the modern AS3X Plus technology. Running changes that have happened throughout its life, like a new upgraded landing gear system that came out about halfway through the Timber Evolution's lifespan, is now just out of the box stock what you get with this. This was released Thursday. Super fortunate to have this. And I thought, let's build it. It's only 9 o'clock in California. It's midnight here. I'm going to be up anyway. Let's go. And we have a lot of snow. But since this comes with floats, I think I'll put the floats on. So that's what's up. That's what we're doing. I'm glad to have one of these again. I actually got rid of the last one I had, the Evolution, and always regretted it. And this actually is reminiscent of the older version because I believe the paint scheme is the same as, if I remember correctly, this paint scheme is definitely the same paint scheme the original had. Back in the day when I was still at Motion RC, Motion was selling Horizon products, and I flew the very first timber for product videos for them. And actually, I think some of the first float flying I ever did was with the timber as well. So that's cool. Victor, what's happening, man? Oh, wow, yeah. These landing gear are a lot beefier than they were. These springs are super beefcake nowadays compared to what you used to get. Let's go. Let's go. Yeah, this will be a super easy build. It's got like a wiring harness now instead of individual servos, which is always a fun time. Let's go. 1.5 wingspan, which means 59 inches for those of you who go with imperial measurements. Leading edge slats if you want them, but you have to, you had to glue them on or use like double-sided tape. So I tend to not use them on a plane like this because I don't want to glue them on or tape them on. We're building the new, released just Thursday, 10th anniversary, yet again, another timber. Let's do it. 10-year anniversary edition. There's a manual. It won't take us long to get this together. I do believe it comes with floats. Yes. And I think because there's so much snow here, that's what I'm going to do. So I'm just going to get it unboxed right now, and then we'll put it together. Dwayne, what's going on? Victor. Little wood thing that has nothing to do with anything. These little foam bits are sometimes kind of nice. I love that this comes with floats. And the water rudders are installed already. And so are the decals for the floats. This is going to have AS3X Plus receiver, more than likely. And it's going to be very easy to set up. Floats that it is. I don't want to put stuff in the way because I kind of know how these builds go. Float number 2, float hardware. It wasn't cold today, just a lot of snow. Struts for the floats. Let's get out the fuse. Yeah, you guys that are watching from California definitely are not going to feel my pain with the snow right now. Here's the fuse. AR631 Plus. I like it. Yeah, man, it's got the original like paint scheme on it. So sick. And then the top feeder battery hatch. It's got a motor in it that I think is new for this. Feels a little heavier than what I remember. Lights all over it. In the front, top and bottom of the fuse, you've got landing lights, strobes, and nav lights on the wingtips. Super cool. Just go ahead and put this on my big old International Scout back here. And then when you open one of these up and you're like, hey, I only got one of my wings. Well, you have both of your wings. For the floats, there is more on the bottom of the box. Check that out before you wreck that out. 20-year-old Corsair, never been flown. Holy smokes. Holy smokes. At this point, I'd be afraid to fly it almost, right? 20 years old. So here's your other wing that you were missing, but not really. I don't remember if the flaps were slotted like this before. I can't remember, but they are now. Yeah, I think there's been some interesting changes to it. I could be wrong, but I don't remember them being slotted flaps like this, which is It's super cool they are. Look at that. Ha! That's actually really good. It's been a while since I did the evolution, so I just don't quite recall. And then we've got our spars and hardware. Hardware, boom, right there. And my horizontals. These are mechanical hinges and foam hinge on the backs. Okay. All right. We're going to get into the manual and just do it step by step. Except probably not going to do the wheels. I think I'm going to do the floats. What's up, Raymond? Whoa. Comes with a save 15% slip. You got to register the product, scan the QR code, stuff like that. Timber. Great plane. 70 amp smart ESC. Metal Gear servos all over it. Book call outs. And it's got me going for the landing gear right away. I may fast forward. Yeah, the Timber X is 1.2 meter wingspan, which makes it 48 inches. This is the 59-inch wingspan version. The control surfaces are going to be a little smaller, a little more scale flyer, a little more docile, but still capable plane and fantastic. I like the bigger 59-inch wingspan, 1.5, personally myself, but the Timber X is a very capable plane. Yeah, he doesn't even live in here anymore. Yeah, I think I'll just jump to the... I kind of want to do the floats. We got a lot of snow. What do you guys want to see? The wheels, just get it done? Or do the floats? This is going to be nothing to put together. I should do it in German. I will always love planes. I like my trucks, though, right now. I'm not going to lie. Let's put on these beefy landing gear, man. Let's do the wheels. Let's do the wheels. I can always take them off. I don't know, man. That's what I'm saying, Michael. Do the floats. It's going to take me longer, but I kind of want to do the floats, which I will just assemble the floats right now on their own That's the way to do it, I believe. Let's see for the table of contents. I honestly don't really want the water rudders. I will probably take them off, to be honest with you. I'm working on this bathroom remodel, but I may take a break and go in the backyard and rip this thing tomorrow in the snow on the floats. And I'm going to bring a GoPro for my head is the plan. Dude, what's with those skis? What? Where's the snow skis, man? Ski optional. Is there a part number for the skis, man? What? What? All right, man. Let's do that then. Let's do the floats. Let's get this stuff opened up. Dude, what up? Fred, Dave's RC, brother. What is up, man? You've been gone so long, you didn't know I haven't done planes for a minute. Really? I still do some tutorial videos on the programming, but I haven't been out flying much. Fred. There's a spar. There's the heavy spar. My guess is this is if you're going to fly 4S. We'll look at the manual and find out for sure. So the lightweight spar, and I've seen this in the past. I could be wrong, but I have a feeling I'm not. The lightweight spar for the horizontal stab is when you're going to fly 3S on some planes I've got experience with in the past. And then heavier packs, big 3S packs, or you're going 4S, the heavier spar is generally what's recommended. We will suss that out in a minute. Flapping lips, what up? Here is the spar for the wings. And this is going to be, this is the leading edge slats that I'm not going to be using. Because if they still go on the way they used to, I don't want to use them. I'm sure they do. Go on now the Super Timber 1.7, they're easy to click on and off. So pretty slick the way those can be used. Yeah, these are like they were before, like a double-sided tape, or you glue them in. And I don't think I'll be doing that. This thing slows down nice enough as is. Okay, don't need the prop right now. Dude, I am super impressed, though, with the springs. Used to be there was a weird cross member piece that was always really hard to do. Now each one bolts to the fuse in a hard point location, and you don't have a weird cross member thing to add on. And so these springs are a lot tougher. And then the way these bolt into the pivot barrel that's mounted in the fuse, these splay out just like you would want from an articulated suspension. Yeah, it was the Ultimate had that, and I think maybe like Timber X as well. So yeah, this is the wheels, which I'm not putting on yet. Ha! How you like me now? Building planes late night. Flyboy 305. What's up? The Ultimate. There were a couple different Ultimates. I did them both. But the very first one was probably just a 3S bird. It was orange and blue and white. And then the other one was red. and gray and white. Yeah, man, I'm glad to have the 10th anniversary. It was actually a super surprise. I got it. They just released it Thursday, and I haven't had a new one in a long time, but I got it. It just showed up Saturday. I didn't have time to get it done before the release, but doing it now. Let's go. This is strut hardware also. The struts are super well appointed. They're nice. The whole float situation is pretty dialed. I'm not gonna lie to you. Yeah, they show glue for the leading edge slats. This has thrust reverse, which is nice if you're flying on water. I am going to fly on snow, but I will fly this on water when it gets nice out at my buddy Kelly's house. He lives right on the water. We literally will fly from his back deck. Little tiny screws. Phillips screws. Nylon wingamajigs. Bolts. Bits and bobs. Little metal pieces. That's new. Wonder what that's about. Machine screws, but Phillips. Interesting. Brass grommets and like self-tappers. These are going to be for when you use the wheels, and that's where you mount to the fuse. Handful of variety of screws in here. Trick on that is to read the manual and have a ruler with you. All right, let's open up these floats, man. One, a two. I'm gonna have to find a bigger screwdriver than what I got in here, probably. Yeah, hit the thumbs up, check out the videos. Yeah, man. I am not really a water rudder guy. If you take it off, they can't break either. So there's that. Let's see if my screwdriver will do it. I'm going to go ahead and take the water rudder off now. I'm pretty sure. And this string, let's see. What do they say the string's for? Probably the steering tiller. I so often don't use water rudders on planes that have them. Oh, this is where they hid the... I'm going to look for the skis. That'll be cool. Yeah, so yes, the string is going to go to the steering tiller on the rudder tail wheel, and then you would use the little tiny set screw deal to cinch it up. That is pretty slick, actually. But I'm going to go ahead and take off the water rudder and the string. Water rudder is fine on the water, but on snow, you're liable to damage it. So that little steering tiller double-sided arm comes off, and you can just pull the shaft right out of the loop. There it is on the back, and you're good to go. There's even a little spring here, probably holds some kind of tension on the rudder itself, so it has the tendency to return to neutral. That's cool when you're using that. Okay. I'll put the screw back in here for safe keeping. Mike Nolan, what up? Yeah, I will look into those skis. Okay, water rudder off on that one. It comes with a dual. This tape is holding that string in. It is nice that the water rudder does have a spring-loaded situation there, as well as the one up here to hold it at neutral, which is really great, actually. Yeah, man. I'm gonna see if what's up with those skis. Because then I can put the regular wheels back on and still do snow. Because these are foam floats. So if you're worried about damaging them, go for the skis. Because you will. Cool. The floats are stripped and ready to go. So these two go in between the two. The question is E. I mean, they tell you what the bags aren't labeled, so you don't know what E really means. Oh, neat. The screw's right there in it. So there's a little smackdown right here that comes off. Basically, you want to do half at a time is what I'm picking up from what the manual's putting down, if you know what I'm saying. That's pretty clever. I think this is better than it ever was. I don't remember it being this nice. After the floats, the plane will be a breeze, dudes. An absolute breeze. That is slick. Man, I think this is going to be way easier than it used to be. I remember kind of fighting these before. Man, that is not how that goes. Yes, it is. Oh, that is neat. So this hole in there, right there, you can see right there in the middle of the float, there's a hole. This goes in there, and then underneath, kind of laced in underneath the other side of that plastic, which really supports it, which is pretty slick. And with those little plastic covers off, you get to really see what's happening to line that up. And then you got to make sure you get your the angles right on the floats. Neato. Rick and Roy, what up? So look at the pictures, picture pages. These are not identical. The tall one goes in the back like this. That's rad. And the front one goes angled back like so. All right. And then there's an extra brace. D. But where does that attach? To the plane, bro? I bet it does. The front, sorry. Timber time. Yes, the front and rear flows. The front strut has more of an angle than the rear strut. Why wouldn't they say the one that's taller or not taller? Okay, that's more of an angle. I was wrong. Fine. And then yeah, I think the same point you would anchor the brass grommets to is where you're going to connect these extra struts to. Okay. And I think those metal plates are weights if you needed them there. Okay. Is that what they really want? Sometimes I wish I could blow up the picture. They're showing the same screw doing that job. Fine. Then that's what we'll try. This will be pretty slick because I'll get it put on the fuse really before anything else is going on it. I guess that could be it. I don't know what else it would be. Yeah. Yeah, that's the only screws on this. Some of this you can tighten up all the way when you're ready. Sick. They go together nice. I swear they're better than they used to be too. So that half is done. Now we're going to do this half. Last time I flew was the Sportix, which wasn't that long ago. I think it was before. It was fall. We'll set up the radio and everything. I need to get a battery charged. I want to fly this in the snow tomorrow. 3200 4S is going to be, I think, the sweet spot for this. Always seemed to be in the past. I don't know why it'd be any different. Yeah, I feel like I had to wrestle this last time I did these. This is so much easier. Nice. Come on. So sick. Put a little tension on it. And there it is. Boom. So you can see on the bottom, the bracket's in, and on the top, it's not in yet, but you'll get all that stuff set and ready before you put these little dudes back in their location. And you can't forget this little dude at the back. Snow, yes, sir. Yeah, we got like 14 inches in the last 2 days. It's actually kind of deep snow, but I'm thinking I can work it out. And if I have to, I can use kind of like the driveway part back there. Oh, yeah, this is going really well. I swear I had to fight this so much harder last time. Like, I feel like there was a lot of trying to get the screw to bite, or not strip the screw, but kind of ratchet it in like you do when you're self-tapping plastics. I'm totally looking into these skis though. Dude, if they're a 3D print file, I'll just make them. But I don't know if there's something you buy all together or what. Oh, don't forget this, homie. I actually left this screw a little loose so I can do what I got to do with it when it's fuselage time. And I don't think there's a right or wrong way on these. I'm sure somebody will figure out the wrong way, but so yeah, I'll cinch that up later when I get it. Okay, I'm gonna bring over the fuse. So we're jumping the gun just a little bit. There's a little piece of hardware that needs to come off here that's going to retain it. And there may be a little something that goes in this front piece. I don't know yet. Anyway, this one's coming out. And then this little son of a gun should come out. Watch this. Boom. There it went. So that's going to go right there. Oh, perfect. This one goes in the back, and this one goes here in the front. Oh, yeah, these bars are going to hold it down with a little tension. We'll get this piece put back in first. I do not speak French, but hello. And I think you commented on a video the other day, and in the comments, it gives me the option to click translate. So I wanted to know what you said, so I hit translate and replied back to you. And I was hoping that you were also able to hit the translate button so you knew what I was saying. Bonjour. Yeah, that's got to be what it is. So the holes I was talking about where you mount your springs to, these angled struts cross this bar and mount there is what I'm thinking happens. Because otherwise, I don't know what it is that happens. And I may want to loosen up some screws back there to give me that tension. so I can do what I got to do. Align and mount the float set similar to the bottom of the fuse. Secure the back section of the floats using the bracket. Secure the front section of the floats using the two included 3mm by 10mm self-tapping screws to secure the front support members to the bottom of the fuse. Yeah, that's got to be what it is, dude. Self-tappers. They're the big dogs right here. What'd they say? By 10. What's up, man? David? That's bigger than 10. That's 10 on the money. But this is a self-tapper. 10. That must be where they want them. That's a stretch. It's okay. I want something heavy to pound these in all the way, all the way. I don't really think you'll get those floats to crank all the way down in there without some serious messing. Do they want it on the barrel nut? Certainly not. I'm going to look at my phone and see if they got pictures of this thing on the floats, like photo picture. Pre-order now. $350 for the bind and fly with floats, shipping January 21st. That's awesome. Looking for a float picture. Man, I'd like a close-up float picture. Screenshot. And then zoomy zoom. Yeah, I think they did what I was thinking. Oh, I bet I know what I've done. Sometimes a manual might be wrong. There are other holes on the back that might be more appropriate to use, because otherwise I got to stretch this thing crazy tension almost half an inch to make it happen. And I don't bet that's what they really mean for you to do. Why? If you've got these other opportunities right here. Yeah, that makes more sense. Let's try that. I think that's going to be the ticket. What gets me closer? And if I'm correct, then this mounts even better in its recess, the screw. Oh, yeah. And it's going to be one of these. Guarantee. Let's do a quick little mock-up. That's not big enough, is it? Son of a gun. Maybe it's these then. They tell you the letter of the thing, but not the size sometimes. Let's see if that brought it closer enough to do it. Before I go intense. Still. Let's try the inboard screw. That's got to be it. Ha! That's got to be it. That's got to be it. Get that started, not completely worried about all the way tight yet. Yeah, if this was the wheels, I would have been done, but that's okay. This makes so much more sense that this doesn't go on top of this bracket. The picture was not super clear. But when it doesn't fit, it makes sense to try something else. Am I right, guys? I mean, and like, such as... That makes all the sense in the world. Ladies and germs. Ladies and germs. You'll see. Cool. That started good. And now the end is near. And so I face, oh yeah, perfect. The final curtain. My friend, I'll say it clear. I'll state my case. Of which I'm certain. Let's use this foam I have from unpacking this joint. Don't mind if I do, to support this shenanigans. This makes so much more sense. Hallelujah. So much more sense. And yeah, it holds down the front bracket for the floats. Yes. That is what they mean. Je m'appelle Stuart Stevenson. I got how to speak French CDs once for Christmas, and all I learned how to say was "Comment ça? Je m'appelle Stuart Stevenson." That's about it. Touche. I learned from Tom and Jerry. So, oops, I forgot the bracket. I was so proud of myself for knowing 3 lines of French that I forgot this. Yes. I use Google Translate all the time. And then a lot of apps these days do it for you already. Floats are on, y'all. That's awesome. I need a bigger, better screwdriver, though. Sometimes it makes sense to get a flathead. Like right now, it makes sense to use a flathead so you don't strip the Phillips. Okay. Bruh. We're cooking with gas, as they say. Oh, yeah. Flathead was the game changer. These are firm, dudes. Sick. All right. We're getting back into the book now for real. And I believe that puts us back into the tail assembly. So now we will consult the manual about the spar that should be used. It's weird how reading the manual will tell you what you need to know. So, light and heavy stabilizer joiners. Are you ready for this? The Timber 1.5 10-year anniversary edition includes 2 stabilizer joiners, a lightweight composite joiner, and a heavier steel joiner. For sedate flying and maximum stability in general flight, use the light joiner to place the center of gravity CG at the front of the recommended CG range, which means the other one for a little more wild. Slide the horizontal stabilizer. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, that's it. That's all they say. Use the light joiner to place the center of gravity CG at the front of the recommended CG range. It's easy enough to change. I'm going to use the lightweight one. I'm going for the lightweight one. Stick it in, stick it in. Acting kind of shady. This is easy. And they like literally click in, bruh. Bruh. Yeah, I'm going light. Predictable sounds cool to me. Okay, so there will be a little screw that goes in there. And there needs to be, we'll have to hook up the elevator push rod. But yeah, foam hinges and mechanical hinges in here. And they're talking about using a little 12 millimeter screw. That's got to be these dudes. Little nose heavy's always good in my book. And there is a cavity back here and a couple weights. So I think you can easily, put those in if you wanted to. That's 12 millimeter, just what the doctor ordered, as they say. Chef's kiss. Vous pouvez l'attacher. If you were here. Right, Fred? Yeah, I'm glad to have a timber again. Not gonna lie. Okay, now they show second to last, otherwise known as penultimate furthest hole for the elevator control rod linkage to the servo horn. Let's do it. Let's do it. Y'all ready for this? If I was really smart, I'd have almost done it ahead of time. So there's a neat little keeper here that clicks off and back on for this. Ah, Roy, you got the OG with the bottom feeder, huh? Okay, the second to last hole. I always set them up by the book, dudes. This one's got the smart file, so I'm going to say yes when it asks me if I want the smart file. Everything will be set up already. I'll have to go into forward programming to say yes to safe, but the channel assignment to the B switch, flaps on D, all that will be done already. The rates will default to 3 different switches. That's the only thing I'll change. I'll put them all on one, like F, which I always do. Okay, so then this is going, the keeper's going back. Yo. The keeper's going back. And then it's got to click down, which is done. Literally done. Yeah, and then the steerable tail wheel, besides having the control horn for the rudder, there's another double-sided steering tiller where you would hook up your water rudders if you were going to do them. Bet. All right. And this is slick. So here in the top of the fuse, you can kind of see at the back by that light, 2 black little boxes. That is literally where the wings are going to plug in, right there. I mean, yo. Let me turn this other way. Maybe you guys can see the wing going on better. Got our plastic wing joiner right here. The wing bolts are also handy. Big nylon jobs. Bing. Bada bing. Come on. Yeah. 1.5. Come alive. Yeah, I don't use the water rudders usually, but they're there if you want them. I took them off on this because I'm flying on snow. But otherwise, since they were already there, I would have used them for water, but not on snow. So there's only one way that this plastic joiner is going to fit in. Easy. Flaps, lights, all the stuff is already done. Little junction box, terminal plug for each half, which means you don't have to think too hard about it. It's going to go. Let's look at the picture, though. The wires coming out of the junction box will face forward towards the nose. Come on. And they're not coming out because the wing is in a way holding it there. Guys, while the wing is not on all the way, I'm going to bind it. Sit, Ubu, sit. Good dog. Let's see. We got any juice on this? About to find out. Come on, tell me something. 60%. That should be enough to do what I'm trying to do. Makes sense to do this. Prop is off, which is super smart. Let's go ahead and get it in bind mode. I hope it doesn't beep. AR631 is in bind mode, beeping. I need to send my NX10 in for service. So I am going to go with my NX7E. and pick a brand new blank model. Go to System Setup, disable RF, model select, add new model, create. So the one aileron, one flap, all the stuff that we used to have to do with this AS3X Plus, I will not have to do. So now I'm going into the bind screen. Looks like the flaps need slowed down. It's still auto configuring though. So, all right, now this is where it's asking you if you want to skip the file for this plane or go from scratch, skip or load. I'm going for the file, bro. Load it, homie. This will overwrite all current model settings. It's fine. If stock bind and fly model hardware has changed, the receiver's file may not work properly. They have to say obvious things. Obviously, if you make any changes, repairs, pre-flight your stuff. Some servos are reversed, some servos aren't. You just got to do what you got to do. Okay, now that I've accepted the file, the flaps are already slowed down like they're supposed to be. And the elevator mix is already done too. The flap to elevator mix that's called out in the manual is already done. We'll set this whole thing up. It named it for me as well. Timber, 10-year anniversary, EFL 3352. The only thing I got to change is I don't like the dual rates on 3 individual switches, so I will change that. Dudes. It's done. Okay. Let's bolt this wing on, dog. Actually, I'm going to even twist these a little bit. Because there's a trough that these wires can lay in. And I think a little bit of a twist will help make sure they don't get in the way of anything. And unlike the old days, no bind plug was necessary. Just simply push the button on the receiver. The front of the wing keys into this plastic bracket, which also holds the magnets for your battery door. Dude, with those 2 connections like that, the wing for transport coming off super easy. Back of the truck, dude. Back seat, wing off. Very nice. Now, we trust these settings, but we're going to pre-flight these settings. Tighten it, but not overdo it. Prop's not going on until I'm ready. Let's dress it up. Plastic clad where the battery hatch fits the fuse on this piece and on the fuse. So you're not going to mar up this battery compartment with that. Now, I like being behind it when I pre-flight it, but I'm going to give you that satisfaction. I do want you to be able to see the let's just do the elevator real quick. Up is up. And I'm going to let it relax. And now right rudder is right rudder. Left aileron is left aileron. Now we'll flip the flaps. And you can see the elevator and the flaps do what they're supposed to. On a high wing plane, it makes sense that you need down elevator with the flaps. So fact is, that's what I'm seeing here. So I'm good with that. And like I said, left is left, up is up, right is right. Throttle cut's already set to by that file. You just have to flip your H switch. So that washer on there makes it sound like bearings are bad, but it's fine. Bro, okay. So we're going to set up safe. Why not? Let's go ahead and do it. The AS3X is already working. Once you've run up the throttle past 25%, it works. But I'm putting safe in it because it's free. And sometimes I like using it. I don't really need the book anymore for this at all. So, now, like I was saying, it's so cool. The ESC is good. What, you want to see reverse thrust too? I don't really need it for the snow, and I like the prop to windmill, but I'll do it for you if you want me to. Super cool. Super cool. Let me get my chair. And those are big rates. So let's see what the book did for the rates. I'll hit throttle cut anyway. Defaults to the H switch. Let's do the rates before I do safe. So go into the rates and expo menu, and you're going to see that the aileron is already on F. 100, 10% expo, and then it's a triple switch, but they only give you dual rates. So I always am going to make the middle at 85. Yeah, you can calibrate ESCs, but if they don't need it, I really have never messed with them. I don't do it unless I need to for years, and it's been all right. So while I'm at it, we'll just look. Elevators on switch C and rudders on switch G. Too much messing around. The aileron, I like it, except it's backwards from what I want. So the 70% is on the number 2 position, and then 100% is at 0. I do it the other way. So I'm just changing all the rates and putting them on one switch. So my aileron 0 on the F switch. Here's why I do what I do. 0, 1, and 2. Numerically, 100% is a higher number, just like 2 is. Also, the 2 switch down to you is like more elevator. I feel like it's more. It's more numerically, and it's more back pressure is the way my mind has always thought about it. So I am doing the book call outs, except I'm throwing in an 85 and I'm just changing it. So low rate aileron, 70 by the book. Expo is 5 on that. Middle rate, I'm going to go 10 on the expo and split the difference and make it 85. High rate, 100%, which is what they have. They just have it in a different place. Expo 10. So high rate, 10% expo, mid rate, 85, 10% expo, low rate, book call out, 70 and 5 on the expo. And that's switch F. When you're looking at this dual rate screen, you don't have to mess with where it says curve or those tick boxes at the bottom. They're just showing you what the switch is doing. If you mess with the curves in here and the switch tick boxes, all of a sudden you'll wonder why you're losing your numbers and stuff's not working. So we're going to the next surface, which is elevator. Before you mess with the numbers, go ahead and change the switch to F, if you want them all on the same like I do. And you want your rates to match up. So whatever high rate you do on aileron makes sense. That's going to be the same thing location wise for elevator. So the number 2 switch position, I'm going 100, high rate, expo 10%. This is book call out. I'm just putting it somewhere different. Expo on the mid rate, going to be 10, 85. We'll be done with rates in just a minute. And then the low, 70 and 5. Okay, rudder's next. It's that easy. Take it back down to high rate. Got to change the switch first. F. Everything's on F. High rate 100. 10 on the expo. Book call outs. Except for this mid one that I'm doing. But why not if you got a 3-position switch? Low. 70 and 5. Okay, and then you can verify it. Boom, boom. You see it move like it's supposed to. We'll just double check. Okay, rudder's on F, elevator's on F, aileron's on F. Perfect. So I'm getting out of here because I'm done. Now, you can't really see the surfaces, but I think it's kind of nice to show you. All right, so I'm cranking rudder, elevator, and aileron. I'm in low rate, mid, high. They all do what they're supposed to do. It's a lot of throw, actually, on this, even at low. AS3X is working for certain. Now, this is another neat thing from the AS3X Plus. What used to be homework where you had to go in a channel assign is now done. So with safe, it's almost like you got to tell this thing what you want 3 times just because they want to make sure you know what you're doing. And so normally you would have to go in a channel assign and assign your aux7 to what switch you want for safe. With the safe AS3X Plus file, aux7, channel 7 is already defaulted to the B switch. Flaps are already on the D switch, as we know. So I don't have to do anything here. I just looked at it. It's already done. Just like the throttle cut already went to H, flaps go to D, safe goes to Bravo. Gear is going to always default to channel 5 and the A switch. There's no landing gear here, so no worries. I just wanted to look at that. And then the Plus file does default the flight mode setup to switch D. And so if you wanted to, you could make it where you can also trim in your elevator compensation during that flight mode. But to do it, you have to go into the trim setup menu, and where it says F mode for the trim type for aileron, elevator, and rudder, you would simply switch it to say, oh, it's already F mode. Common is what it would say. Otherwise, it's already in F mode. So that means, just for instance, if I go full flaps right now, I got to get out of the screen so I can see it. But that's actually interesting. They've already done that. Okay, full flaps. And if I trim elevator, yeah, I know this battery's not full. If I trim elevator, it's going to move. But when I change the flaps, it goes back. So it remembers it for each. The mix is already in there, so you don't need this. But it's kind of cool that it does it. I'm going to put the trim back to neutral, though, because the compensation is already in there, and we'll double check that right now. I already know it is because we saw it. Flap system. Yep, the mix is already there. 2 seconds, all that stuff. And another thing that's kind of interesting too is we could just look at aircraft type, because this used to be something you had to do. It's going to be already done. 1 aileron, 1 flap, tail normal. Yep, didn't have to do it. It did it for me. Pretty cool. Now, I think if you don't know how to do these radios, doing them by the book's the best way to learn. But for a guy that already knows how to do it, it's kind of nice. It's done for me. So let's see. Throttle cut is set. I can go into forward programming now and get safe done. So let's do that. It's going to be from the function list menu. Yeah, I usually go for just the flap to elevator mix and I'm cool, but the being able to trim it and it remember for only that configuration is definitely slick. And it's easy to do. Let's see, what did I want to do? Oh yeah, forward programming. Okay, forward programming, gyro settings, click, safe select, click, safe select channel. It says gear right now. Now, this is where I'm going to make it say aux 7. And the B switch, put it in the position you want your safe on at when you turn safe on. So safe select is written on the screen twice. At the very bottom as a blanket statement and up in the middle specific to the flight mode. So it's got to be on as a blanket statement regardless of what switch position you want it on. But I always put it on the switch I want it on, which more stability, same thing, higher number 2, which is actually reading as flight mode 3. I'm turning safe on as a blanket statement. And then I'm scrolling up into the middle and turning it on. Okay, it wants to be in 0 position. That's fine. I don't care. So that's what it's doing. So the blanket statement shows it for all 3 modes, but it's only really on in flight mode 1, which is the 0 position. Okay. It's not worth the fight. So I can go back because it's done. Now, if I go to safe select as an option now, it's not necessary because it's already done. So being a bind and fly, you're not going to change the gains unless you factory reset this thing. Advanced menus, gyro settings, AS3X settings, AS3X gains. Now, you couldn't mess with the gains on a bind and fly, but now you actually can. And so the AS3X gains are 35 roll, 34 pitch, 60 yaw. And that's going to be on both the AS3X flight modes. If I wanted one of these modes with no gains at all, I could roll it down to 0. Now, the safe gains, they are what they are. You're not going to see those unless you... Yeah, They are what they are. You're not going to see them. Now, if you go back to your monitor screen, though, you probably can. So let's go back to the monitor screen. Monitor screen, like you're going to fly it for the day. Scroll over to the right, and you should be able to see that AS3X is on all the time, even when safe is. So the AS3X gains change to 30, 30, 55, 30 roll, 30 pitch, 55 yaw when safe is on. When it's regular, it's what I said before, 35, 34, and 60. If you scroll over one more time, you're going to see your angle limits are all set to 45 for roll right, roll left, pitch up, pitch down in your AS3X modes. But when you're in safe, the angle limits increase to 75, 75, 40, and 35. So roll right 75, roll left 75, pitch up 40, pitch down 35. The safe gain is roll 40, pitch 70, and they don't really give you a yaw. So you can see what these gains are from the monitor screen once you've hooked this all up, but you're not going to be able to change them in forward programming on safe unless you factory reset the receiver, which I wouldn't do. There's no need to. And this is also where I would program reverse thrust if I wanted it. I don't want it. It's done, dudes. This thing is done. So cool, bro. So cool. That's it. I'm charging batteries for tomorrow. And the GoPro. 10th anniversary Timber. Let's go. Turn this baby off and get it charging. And where's my cable? Right there. Charge it up, Buttercup. Bling. Green light. Green light. And then I'm going to start this battery too. Oh, that's a 3S. I want 4S, man. Who are you kidding? I want power. Power. For getting through this snow. Bro. That's a plane. That's how easy it is. Especially if you are me. Where'd that propeller go, homie? We're putting the spinner and the prop on now. I like looking at the book just to see what they want. There's a washer and a nut and a spinner. Let's just see what they say. Prop, washer, then the nut. Makes sense. Because it's kind of serrated at the prop adapter, so to speak. $11 by 6.6. Wash. Nope. No prop balancing. For me. Unless the plane's vibrating, I'm not doing it. Nice and tight. It's going to windmill because I didn't set up the reverse thrust. And then you get a spinner. And a bind plug, which you do not need these days anymore at all. but I will keep for my records. The screw and the spinner are here. Honestly, if anything, we're going to be out of balance. It's probably the spinner. It's a Phillips too. Oh my gosh, it's 142. That's what I get for doing floats. But now I can fly it. It's ready. Look at that. 10-year anniversary, homies. There it is. 59-inch wingspan, ready to rock. Built, bound, beats, bears, Battlestar Galactica. Sick. Sweet action. That's what I wanted to do tonight, and I thought I'd share it with you guys. Now, these little bits that are left are for the wheels. Brass grommets, a couple little tiny screws, a couple washers. I will keep them all together. Yes, it's the Timber 10th anniversary version. So it has the original paint scheme from the first Timber before the Evolution. That was a bottom feeder. Now it's got improvements like the Evolution had, but I think even better. There's some things that went together I thought way better than even the Evolution did. You get the upgraded springs and all of that. I feel like some of the hardware is better, and the assembly even a little easier. I do not remember if the Evolution had Fowler slotted, more slotted than Fowler, but a little bit of both flaps. But this one does. CG will be fine. With the 3200 4S in it, it'll be fine. And I went with the lightweight spar instead of the heavy one. So it'll be all right. And honestly, with CG, dude, if you're in the fat of the wing, you win. They say the CG is... I honestly never look at it. I put the battery in and hold it, and it's like, yeah, I don't need no stinking CG, bro. What's it say, though? I'll put one in, though, and put it on my fingers and show you. There's not a lot of places to put the, battery. I think the only guys that got to worry about CG are the dudes flying on like 2200 3S. They're going to be like, especially if they put the metal weight in the tail, it's going to be very responsive for them. I thought I saw it in here, but maybe it's early on in the front. But honestly, if you're new to it at all, read the book because it's good. How am I missing? I'm really not worried about it, but how? There it is. 54 to 66 millimeters from the leading edge. It's, 33% max core. No, I'm not doing the slats. 33% max cord. I mean, it's basically the fat of the wing always on these things. Let's get a 4S 3200 in here for giggles. We'll take a quick measurement of this, give or take. Basically 60 millimeters, give or take 6 millimeters either direction. Exactly, right there in the fat, dude. Right there in the fat. Yeah. All right, batteries in. Not even, I'll put it all the way forward just for giggles. Battery all the way forward, 3200 4S. Fat of the wing. Dude. I mean, that's it. That's it. So let's see. I'll put a fingernail where I was just for fun. I'll put a little divot in it with the ruler at 60. There we go. So that's 60. That's right where I was. I guarantee it. Is it actually a little better? That's fine. That is absolutely fine. If it climbs on you, give it a little down trim. But like 3200 4S, I think is a good one. You can put a bigger one in here. But if I put the heavy spar in here, I would be wanting to change it after checking that. Yeah, it's good. It is going to be fine, man. Absolutely positively. I'm pretty pumped about it. Timber. Let's go. Okie doke. Later, you guys. 10 till 2, where I'm from. Yeah, Roy, I like it too. That'll be fine. That'll be fine. Yes, I will. I plan on wearing a GoPro on my head for the snow. It's deep, but I think I can work it out. A little high rate elevator, never killed anybody. And I think that'll be all right. Super glad they sent that. And it's the least I can do, is throw it out on the snow, I think. And I want to. And I'm doing this bathroom job at my in-laws' house. They got a big back. There's farm stuff behind them. So it's kind of tight, the takeoff and landing, but the flying will be fine. And yeah. And man, I love that those connectors, it's just 2 plugins and the wings off. 2 bolts, 2 junction box style plugs. Sick. Easy to take this wing off and bring it. And you can even split the wing in half, lose the joiner, take the spar out, and like even easier pack it. So you got some good news, Francis? That's awesome. Yeah, man. So that's what's up. Thanks for coming. Bye. This is shipping on the 21st. I mean, a lot of you guys have timbers already, but if you're like ready to, it's a good stall plane. It's a good high wing plane. It's sporty enough to do aerobatics. It's a classic. 10 years still going strong. And if you don't have a timber, if you've missed out on the timbers, here, this is the one to get right here. Shipping on the 21st, offered plug and play and a bind and fly. Bind and fly comes with the 631 and that super slick AS3X Plus file. Your radio needs to be updated to be able to do that. And that's not, there's tons of media out there on getting that done. But I'm up to date, so I was able to take advantage of that plus business. But I've got videos where I've done it the old-fashioned way if you wanted to see it. Yeah, stiffer wing. Lots of little improvements have been done to this over the Evolution, which wasn't bad. But I feel like it's the same shape, but I do feel like it's a little better. And I really, at this point, am so curious about the flaps. So I'm going to check out one of my old Evolution videos and see what the flaps were like, because I don't remember them being slotted. And slotted's better because you've got that airflow coming through the gap and holding onto the backside of those flaps to lock you in even better than just like a hinge the whole way. Was the Evolution slotted too? Okay. Now I can believe it. I can believe it. They're not going to reinvent the wheel all the way. I mean, we still got Phillips hardware on this when everything else is 2mm driver at this point. I wish I knew French, man. Thanks for coming over. Thanks for coming over. Yeah, it's been a good one. Yeah, check it out. We'll be back for the truck talk, Wednesday. Stuff like that. Anybody needs a crawler kit, wants one built, wants one I have behind me. Some of it's up for grabs, some of it's not. But yeah, there's another kit I'd like to do. So we'll see. I do have a bunch of base camp kits, like chassis or 3D printed bodies and everything, that I've got enough of those base camps that I'd let a base camp or two go for sure. You could almost pick your body, dude. You want a Scout mint julep, or you want a nothing, or do you want a Willys wagon? You want a Land Rover? I got a bunch of stuff on base camps. Straight axles, and they're nice. All right, I'm going to bounce. We'll see you guys. Wish me luck tomorrow on the shakedown. We're out of here in 5. Hanger rats forever. We'll 3 you later. You're too good to be forgotten. Man, I want that T6. We'll see you next time. John VHRC just put out a video, I think today or yesterday, on the T6, and he flies pretty good. And GB is a pretty good cameraman too. So if you want to see a good video on a T6, I've seen part of it from Jeff's show earlier tonight, Jeff in Lower Alabama. But you want to see that T6, there's a bunch of it out there now, but I want one too. But it's not nice enough for it. But it's a gorgeous bird, dude. You want to see a good video of it, GB films good, and John flies well as well. So, oh, cool, Roy. Yeah, man. Tell him, hey, I want to check that video out the rest of the way, because Jeff only teases it on his show. So I only saw the little bit from Jeff in Lower Alabama's show, and he teased how good the landings were, but didn't show any. So I'm going to go back and check that out. Tell GB hey, too, if you get a chance. All right, guys. 2-1. Bye now. Boom.